Good evening. This is CTV News for this Tuesday, September 24th. I'm Rochelle Metzger.
And I'm Patricia Vallone. Thank you for joining us this evening. Well, he has been sparring with other candidates for months without saying he was in the race, but today Doug Gansler officially launched his campaign for governor. Gansler outlined his vision for the state as his supporters cheered on. Denise Douglas has the details.
The race for governor is heating up with Doug Gansler officially throwing his hat in the race. In fact, I can still see him back there because he just wrapped up making that announcement right here in front of the Montgomery County Courthouse is where we are. Now, this location is significant for a number of reasons. One, because he grew up in Montgomery County, and the courthouse because that is where he served as the state's attorney for 8 years before becoming Attorney General in 2006. Gansler says as Attorney General, he has focused on the environment, consumer, and public safety issues, which he plans to continue to do if elected governor. The two other Democrats vying for the top job are Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown and Delegate Heather Mazur. At today's event, Gansler was surrounded by dozens of supporters and his family as he officially kicked off his campaign, focusing on his vision for the state.
Creating jobs in a fairer economy that helps all people in the middle class and therefore all of us to make sure that we thrive. I'll protect our values by standing up for all Marylanders, by expanding opportunity and continuing to fight discrimination. My campaign and my service as governor will be built on meeting the needs of people, not the establishment, not special interests.
From the moment I first met Doug, I learned something about him that I think is the heart of who he is and how he views his role as a public servant. People matter to him. Their lives, their fortune, their misfortunes, their aspirations. Having a positive, meaningful impact on these things is what guides him in his public life.
From here, Doug Gansler takes his campaign on the road. Over the next 7 days, he will make 16 more stops throughout the state. I'm Denise Douglas, CTV News.
And Gansler will also make a stop in Prince George's as part of his 7-day tour.
Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown picks up another endorsement in his bid to become governor. Congressman John Sarbanes says he supports Brown and his running mate Ken Ullman. Sarbanes notes Brown's work with health care as a main point of support. He also called Brown a resourceful leader who will keep Maryland's economic recovery on track with investments in infrastructure and education.
The clock is ticking in fast for Congress to strike a deal on the federal budget. So far, Democrats and Republicans have made little to no progress on an agreement. The GOP-led House of Representatives voted to defund President Obama's Affordable Care Act last week as an alternative solution to a government shutdown. Senator Ben Cardin says that's a compromise that won't be accepted.
American people do not want us to turn back to pre-existing condition exclusions, the 25, 24, and 23 and 22-year-olds not being on their policies, seniors not getting the type of help they're getting today on preventive care and prescription drugs, the solvency of the Medicare Trust Fund. All that would be turned back. Small businesses being able to have more affordable health insurance options, getting credits, people having affordable coverage. We're not turning our back on the progress that we've made. Can we?
And Congress has until the end of the month to reach a decision.
President Obama calls on the United Nations to resolve the bloody civil war in Syria. He spoke to members this morning during a 50-minute address in New York. Obama also vowed to pursue better relations with Iran.
I've made it clear that even when America's core interests are not directly threatened, we stand ready to do our part to prevent mass atrocities and protect basic human rights. But we cannot and should not bear that burden alone.
The president will also meet Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas during his time in New York. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Rochelle Metzger.
And I'm Patricia Vallone.